Hello guys, my name is DB, Mrs Brown, but I prefer DB, it's easier for the kids. You'll notice with this book, it is my first children's book. I have written a book before, but I don't know how to edit, so what you see is what you get, unfortunately, but quite fortunately. I do believe that in life we make errors, and why not show it when you're reciting your first book? So here we go. This is my book called How to Grow a Boy Band. I hope you enjoy. Could it really happen? Can I really do it? I thought to myself. Have you ever woken up from a dream where everything has appeared before your very eyes and the dream has ended with you smiling to yourself and thinking, what if? I'll introduce myself. I'm Dee, as I've just said. I come from a place called Chesterfield, and our town is very famous for it having a crooked spire as a visitor's sightseeing wonder. Anyway, back to the story. No doubt, like many millions of us, me included, and other viewers, you've grown up watching shows on the TV like X Factor, The Voice, Britain's Got Talent. So my big idea was, let me grow a boy band. I'm not a manager. I wouldn't even know how to sort it all out, but why not? Why not at least try? When I was of school age, we used to go to an infant school and then we'd move up onto a junior school. Before at 11, 12, we'd then head off for senior school. So what I'd do was get in touch with both of my old schools. Brum-ti-dum-ti-dum-ti-dum, brum-ti-dum, I muttered to myself as I leafed through our local telephone directory. Got it. Ring, 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 went the phone as I tapped my pen on the coffee tabletop. Oh, hello, is that Westfield Infant School? I asked. Yes, it is, answered the first school secretary. Oh, good. I was hoping to speak to the head of the school, please, I inquired. Oh, yes, can I ask what it is in regard to, the lady said. Well, I actually think it would be easier for me to come over in person rather than try and explain over the phone, I laughed. All right, well, she's in morning assembly right now, but she doesn't seem to have anything to do from about 11 a.m. If that's any use to you, she said. I could hear in her voice that she thought our entire conversation had been weird, but she seemed to want for the meeting to happen. I think she was quite curious herself to find out what the heck I was talking about. Yes, that sounds perfect. Hang on, 1 minute. Sorry, I've lost my place. Yes, that sounds perfect. Perfect, thank you, I said, smiling to myself. See you then, she muttered. Right, school number 2. I muttered to myself. Dum-ti-dum-ti-dum, I said again, waiting for the next call to be answered. Ring, 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 ring. Hello, old junior school. I'm Simon, the school secretary, said the friendly voiced young man. Yes, hello. I was hoping to possibly arrange for a meeting to chat to the head of the school, if that's possible, I asked. Can I ask what the matter is regarding? He asked. Well, it'd be better for me to speak to the head in person, believe me, I said, smiling to myself. Right, okay, came the reply. I could tell how confused poor old Simon was by the tone of his voice. But come on, how would you explain my potty idea within a 2-minute conversation? See, Not that easy once you think about it, is it? Think, I was saying to myself as I took a bath, then as I was getting ready, and even as I drove to the first school. Be professional, speak confidently, explain yourself, and please, stop sweating. Right, here we go. Here goes nothing. I coached myself. Buzz, went the entrance buzzer. Hello, Mrs. Brown, came a youngster's voice. Mrs. Brown, I said with a smile. The youngster walked me through the doorway. Are you the butler? I asked. Butler? Oh, no. I'm just on report and sitting outside Mrs. Eyre's room, he answered. All right. What have you been up to? I asked. I'm just naughty, he said. Oh, dear. I'm sure you're not that bad, I replied. He showed me into Mrs. Eyre's office. Good morning, I said, trying to show confidence. Hello, so I'm Mrs. Eyre. So how can we help you? She inquired. Right, I used to go to this school many years ago, and just recently I've decided to put together a boy band. And as this was the first school I attended, I've decided to see if there's any boys would be interested in trying out. I explained. 1 second, I need a drink. All right. Well, there's certain checks you'd have to undergo before I could even think about letting the boys know. There's the CB, she said. CBS? Yes, I know, I interrupted. There's also my police check, my social services reports. Believe me, I've looked into this, I enthused. Well, yes, it appears you have, she said with a smile. I've also got a solicitor, and I've had triple copies of contracts for myself, the boys and their parents, yourselves. This is going to be professionally done, and the youngsters will be looked after all the way through, I said. Yes, you appear to have sorted all the legal stuff, so how do we help you to proceed with this, she asked. Well, what I was thinking was if we put up a notice and see what boys would be interested, dependent on their parents' consent, of course, I explained. Well, I know of a few boys who'd be ideal, she said. I've decided that with the importance of the Year 6 boys' education, exams and getting themselves ready for a senior school, I'd only consider asking boys in Year 5 just because of the work and commitment that the Year 6 boys have had to put in, I said. Oh, yes, right. I know of certain boys in Year 5 that would suit the job, Mrs. Eyre enthused. Can we see what boys are interested themselves? Because I want them to know in their hearts that this is what they'd really like to do, I reiterated. Okay, fine, that's a good idea. Do you have the notices or should? Mrs. Eyre said. Yes, they're here. I smiled, handing over the notices. Shall I come back in a few days? Let's say, give them till Friday and see what the feedback is we've had, I asked. Right, so okay. Yes, that's fine. Let's see if this can happen, Mrs. Eyre said, with a grin. And with that, we said our goodbyes, and that was meeting 1 over. I walked away, pleased with myself. I'd gotten through it, expressed myself clearly and confidently. Yes, I'd done well. Off to old junior school I go. I bounced about to my iPod, jigging and singing away to Bon Jovi on the drive to the next school. and readying myself for the next meeting. Oh shoot, it's 11:25 already, I said to myself. Sorry about that, it's the outdoor groundsman. It's not in the house, it's definitely outside. Right, let me continue. I have one thing I stick by. Always be on time. If people are courteous enough to make plans with me, then I should be responsible enough to turn up on time, or either 10 minutes early. It's just polite, it's nice, and it's saying you're grateful for their help. Right. I definitely let them know either a good old tut-tutting or the pointing at my watch and me muttering if people don't appear on time. I mean, that's wrong. It's just wrong. Right, anyway, here we go. Number 2 school. Let's do this, I said to myself. Buzz, 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 went the doorbell. Hello, came the young voice. I take it you've been naughty and that's why you're showing me an eye quizzed. No, I'm year 6. Head boy, came his confident reply. Oh, good. I thought to myself, I'll get something right one of these days. Hello, Mr. Key. Is it? Sorry. Hello, Mr. Key, is it? I said, flinging out my arm for the handshake. Yes, hello. So, how can we help you today? He quizzed, looking bemused. Wow, what's that smell? I asked. It's the lunch has been prepared, he replied. Of course it is, I replied, looking over at the clock. So I pitched my idea and thrust forward the relevant documentation, just like I'd already done at Westfield Juniors. And he was just like Mrs. Eyre had been telling me how he'd got a few boys in mind. To me, this had to go... this had got to be the boys' choices. No pushy parents, no pushy teachers. I needed the boys to think enough about themselves to actually put pen to paper and apply for themselves. Well, that really does smell good, I said, taking in a good old sniff. We do on occasion invite parents, people to join us for lunch, Mr. Key enthused. Now, I'm one of the few that really did used to enjoy school dinners. Oh, I loved it up so much. I'd be back in the queue for seconds, sometimes even thirds when I was a kid. I was always hungry. It could have been that no matter what sport was happening, I'd join in with it, or it could have just been that I really did love those school dinners. Okay, back to the story. Okay, I will do. I like to possibly bump into some of the boys that'd be interested, I said, thinking. Result, I get to meet some of them. Some of the probable band members, and I'll get a free lunch. I was stoked. As I watched Mr. Key pinning up the notice, I stood in line with the kids for lunch. Sorry about that, glasses keep slipping. You go first, miss, came a young voice. No, I'll queue with you all, I smiled. What are you here for, a young girl asked. Oh, it's just something I'm looking to do, I answered. As I sat with my lunch and having a bit of banter with the table full of inquisitive minds, I heard some twittering of conversations and raised voices. It's because we're better than girls, one boy said. It's not fair. Why is it just for boys? A young girl moaned. Then I sat there and pondered back to my childhood. Myself and some of the other girls had wanted to form a football team. We weren't allowed. In those days, there was the cricket and rugby teams that some girls had wanted to join and weren't allowed because they were girls. We were devastated. It just seemed so wrong to be locked out of certain sports just because we were girls. And yet here I am, doing exactly the same thing to these young girls. It had actually been a complete oversight. It wasn't intentional at all. I'd just not thought of it through correctly. "Excuse me," I beckoned over to the girl. "Yes, miss?" she asked, looking embarrassed because I'd overheard her. "Can you bring me that phone back, please?" I said. She walked back over, looking quite sheepish. "You're right. Sorry, ladies. Of course everyone whom is year 5, whether boy or girl, can apply," I shouted for all of the diners to hear. "That's not fair." "Why only year 5? came 2 or 3 voices. So I explained. "It's because year 6 are so busy swatting up for their term exams, and anyone younger than 10 I just don't think is ready yet. If this works out this year, there's nothing to say that this year's year 4s won't be invited to join a band next year," I stated. It seemed to pacify them somewhat. Then there was a few talks, but a line had to be drawn somewhere. "So, miss, we're getting punished just because we are in year 6 and we've got our final exams coming up? How's that right?" And of course she was right. I'd been blinkered by not allowing them to put their names forward. "Excuse me, can you bring that phone back yet again?" I shouted over to the young girl who'd already repinned it to the notice board. Once again I corrected it. "It's going to be all corrections and no phone soon," I joked to the young girl, passing the phone back. I finished off my lunch, and no, I didn't go for seconds. I then said my goodbyes to Mr. Key, bye-bye to the kids that were speaking to me. "Yeah, you've done well," I complimented myself, and with that got into my car and drove home, a very accomplished journey home. Wow, once I got home I decided to phone up Mrs. Eyre. As I reached for the phone, it began to ring. Ring, ring. "Hello?" I inquired. "Hello, it's Mrs. Eyre. I was phoning about the application form you left," she said. "Hello, if it's about the Just Boys thing, or the fact that I've stated no year 6s, I need you to revise the form, please," I asked. "How did you know?" "That's what I was going to ask you about," she quizzed. "Oh, let me just say, I've rethought it. It's only fair," I added. "Okay. I'll make those changes for you right now," she said. And with that, coffee and chill out time. I was drained. Who knew it? Who knew it was going to be so complicated? Over the next couple of days, I revisited my solicitor, just making sure every detail of the contract was fair for not only the kids or the parents or myself. This had got to be an amicable thing between the schools, myself, parents and kids. This was going to be my record label company. Everything I was out to do, I was doing for the safety of all, from kids on up through to me. Anyway, so that's part 1 of How to Grow a Boy Band. I hope you enjoyed it. I am reachable at Twitter, NanaDB1967. My Facebook page is NanaDB1967. And if you can leave comments on YouTube, I know a lot of people have been having a lot of problems, which I do agree with YouTube for doing. I think that's NanaDB1967. Anyway, bye for now. Speak soon. Ta-ta.